Devin Booker is out, but Grayson Allen and Dillon Brooks are back as Jalen Green must assume the role of Suns' #1 option. We're talking about it all on PHNX Suns pregame show coming up after this. Psychos and sickos unite for a green light edition of the PHNX Suns pregame show, of course brought to you by our friends over at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. You do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit PlayAtGila.com for more details. It's a rare afternoon home game. Steven's at the arena, but I'm Eric. That's Skill. We got Espo and the Freckled Mamba behind the Mac making all of the magic happen. But of course, Espo, and I need you to get it right this time, we are not the most important people here.
Freckled Mamba is no.
He's included in the we.
We're going to the boom room in the chat today. Boom Shakalaka's back with a positive attitude. Look at that. The tides are turning. Just because you're 1-4 in your last 5 doesn't mean the sky's falling. Also, hello to Russell, Sean, the whole crew. Glad to have you here. Let's get this going today.
Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. The vibes, Gil, are immaculate because Nashty has returned to form, Boom Shakalaka, and is all positive, which is a complete breath of fresh air considering where we've been for the last couple of months of this season.
I'm loving the positivity. The smooth jazz is going. The sun is shining outside. Man, I'm feeling it right now. It makes me feel not as bad about this random 3 p.m. tip-off.
Patrick in the hizzy, too. Welcome in, Patrick.
Dare I say there's magic in the air tonight?
No.
Or today?
No.
Damn it.
No.
Damn it.
No.
Okay, let's get to the injury report presented by our friends over at the Husband and Wife Law Team. If you've had a serious injury, call the Husband and Wife Law Team first at 602-783-8841 or visit their website, husbandwifelawteam.com. I apologize. I'm sorry. Good news and bad news for the Suns. The good news, Grayson Allen is available with a right ankle sprain. Dillon Brooks is back with the team, and Jalen Green remains off of the injury report. The bad news, Devin Booker is out with a right hip strain. It was announced by the Phoenix Suns earlier today. He will be reevaluated in 1 week. Haywood Highsmith will be reevaluated in 2 to 3 weeks as he still recovers from right knee surgery. Let's briefly talk about Devin Booker here really quickly. Right hip soreness or right hip strain on the injury report yesterday to reevaluated in 1 week. Are you surprised, concerned, worried?
I am kind of some blend of those. I'm not really surprised. I am obviously concerned when your best player is going to miss time, especially at this crucial juncture of the season, but it could be much worse than being reevaluated in 1 week. I think the big part about it is there are 4 games in 6 days beginning today, but then after Thursday's game against the Lakers, 4-day layoff. So that, at least on the back end, is a little bit of relief, but this is a crucial time and got to get him back as soon as possible.
Yeah, the game that I look at and I'm concerned about is the Lakers, because if you can kind of hold serve over the next few, that Lakers game looms large, and he's not going to be there for it. But, Gil, you and I went back and watched the plays that we think he got injured in, like they were the Zapruder film. And there's nothing like super egregious that you see that, oh, it's obvious he hit into this guy or this happened. It looked like a simple stepped weird coming off a screen, and it kind of just was bothering him, as Coach Ott said, trying to save him from himself. So, all right, a week. This all sucks. I'm sick of injuries. I don't want to see it anymore. But at least it's just a week.
Could be worse. Now, I will say, if he misses every single game this week, he will be 1 game away from missing the threshold for any postseason All-NBA or awards or anything like that. Not that that's the biggest deal in the world, but still something worth looking at as if there was going to be anybody, maybe besides an all-defensive nod from somebody on this team, that would get some type of award when this season is over. It would be Devin Booker. So something to keep in mind, but I don't want to harp on that too much today because there are some exciting factors about today's game, and that is the fact that Jalen Green's off the injury report. Dillon Brooks is back after missing last game from his suspension due to technical fouls, and Grayson Allen was a game-time decision with the right ankle sprain. He ends up being available to go as well. The starting lineup for tonight, though, does not include Grayson Allen. Colin Gillespie still getting the start. Jalen Green, Dillon Brooks, Royce O'Neal, Mark Williams. How do you feel about that being the 5 they're rolling out there?
I mean, you're without Devin Booker out there, you're going to kind of just shrug about it because you're not getting any kind of feel for exactly what this team could be or them getting any feel for playing with each other. So it's about as good as you can get. He's going to have to experiment with the rotations. He's going to have to figure out some stuff for sure. But I'm glad Jalen's out there starting because you need that scoring.
Need that scoring punch immediately. Jalen's had some pretty big first quarters, Thursday included, and hopefully he can build on that because it's going to be really important early game like this. This is just the second tip-off that's like been this early for the Suns, and last time was New Year's Eve in Cleveland. They came out very sleepy. Yeah. So to have somebody like that have a scoring punch in the starting lineup, Dillon Brooks should have some fresh legs, fresh off that suspension as well. So I'm looking at this unit, and this starting unit is very important, as with every night, but specifically tonight because, or specifically this afternoon, because of how early this afternoon game is and getting going early.
Well, we're going to be live tonight, well, today, because we're going to excuse ourselves from saying tonight. We're allowed to say it. It's okay.
Nope, $1 in the jar every time.
We're going to be able to buy a nice dinner at the end of today. We're doing a watch along on this channel right here. In fact, we'll be doing a watch along for every single game for the remainder of this season. So make sure you're tuned in. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you hit that like button as well. And make sure you're a member for the members only mailbag and so much more coming your way.
I got to bring up the funniest comment I think I've seen in a while. Somebody named Highboy 4x4 claims that the players smoke too much weed. Highboy, are you sharing it with them?
I think we're talking about last year's roster. If we're talking about players smoking a lot of weed. With Grayson Allen being back, though, not in the starting lineup, but is going to be a much-needed offensive boost off of the bench for this team. And so it'll be nice that when Jalen Green checks out, even though there's no Devin Booker, or if Colin Gillespie checks out, or Dillon Brooks, any of these top offensive options, the Suns have a guy who can drop 20, 25 points, hit 4 to 10 threes in a game coming off the bench for them. That's going to be a nice little breather without Devin Booker.
100%. And we think so much about Grayson Allen's influence and impact on the game. And again, this team is still one step closer to being full strength. I'm not saying if and when anymore. I'm too exhausted about that. If it happens, it happens. But to see him and different, yeah, there it goes. I put that in the jar too. But all that being said, thinking about Grayson and how he and Jalen Green can play off of one another too, because this flexibility, the biggest thing, whoever is available or not available, we know Jordan Knott is going to continue to experiment with lineups, and we'll see different things. The Magic provides some interesting challenges. They have some availability issues on their side as well. So I'm very intrigued to see what Jordan Knott is able to cook up lineup-wise with this team.
Jacob's 100% right in the chat. Says Grayson will help scoring off the bench. The bench players have not been scoring very well lately. I agree 100%. That is the boost that the bench will need, to your point, Eric. And I think this is the right move because of that. You need that. His kind of shooting on that second unit. You know he and Jalen will be on the court at different times together as well. Good to see Grayson back. Hopefully he is fully healthy, so he's playing at the level that they need him to as a secondary ball handler.
I mean, he was questionable coming into today with a right ankle sprain. Luckily, it wasn't the knee that popped up and bothered him again, so that's nice. Will definitely be something to watch. As for the Magic side of things, like you mentioned, Gil, no Franz Wagner. He's out with a high left ankle sprain. He's, I believe, going to be out the majority, if not the entirety of the rest of the season. Jalen Suggs was questionable coming in today with back spasms. He is out. Those are two very good players. That's going to lead us into our credit check, of course, brought to you by our friends over at Mountain America Credit Union, the official credit union of the Phoenix Suns, because this is a Magic team that's very interesting. I would definitely say they've been relatively disappointing this season when it comes to their preseason expectations, but they're coming off of a big win, granted, against the Sacramento Kings, and a lot of it, Gil's, being powered by not Paolo Banchero, not Franz Wagner, obviously, who's out with injury, but Anthony Black, who's been really good this season.
Definitely. I think Anthony Black is another one of those reminders to be patient with young players. People were very high on him when he came out of Arkansas, and it didn't work immediately right away, but he has the potential, and if he reaches his ceiling, to answer a lot of the questions that this team has had in the past, a lot of the issues that this team has had in the past. The big thing and the big concern that people have had about the Magic is their three-point shooting, and that was something that's plagued them. And you can look at the roster the way it's constructed, and everybody kind of looked at Desmond Bane as being just like that one fix-all for everything. They add him, and everything's going to be all right. And I think that's where the disappointment with the expectations comes, because as good as Desmond Bane is, he's still a flawed player at times, and also he's just not good enough to just fix all of their problems. They're still in the bottom 10 in three-pointers made and three-pointers attempted this season. But if Anthony Black can kind of turn that corner and be that big guard playmaker, knock down some shots at times, he's big for what the Magic could potentially be moving forward. But when I look at them, I still see a pretty flawed roster.
They are flawed, but they're playing well. They're kind of the reverse of the Suns right now. Magic are 4-1 in their last 5. A lot of those against weaker opponents, including Milwaukee, where they split games. But they're playing well, and they're catching you at a bad time as well. I believe they set a franchise record in makes for threes last game as well. So you got to be careful with this group, and Black has played very well and has been a big part of that. But this is a game that you need to get. You have to take care of and win it, and figure out, okay, how do you lock down Bane? How do you lock down Black? And then the biggest question is, will Anthony Black and Amir Coffey trade jerseys after the game?
That is a good question.
We need that.
Yeah.
We need that.
It's a game that is very high on the must-win meter for me. Let's take a look at where we have it, because the Suns have been struggling as of late. It evens out to an 8.9, but that's weighted because I don't know what the hell Steven is doing. Okay, we're all at 10s or 9.5s or 9s. That's all good, right? Steven's at a 6. Now, the reason why I have a problem with this is, and Ayrton pointed it out, is that Steven has been way higher on the must-win meter in like the last couple of weeks with like way more meaningless games. And if we take a look at Steven's keys for the game today, he contradicts himself. Key number 1, reestablish physicality and set the tone. Key number 2, rhythm and flow with Jalen Green at the helm. And key number 3, for the first time all season, he's never done this before, is win. That is contradictory and hypocritical to the Suns' must-win meter, and I will not stand for it.
But isn't win always a key? It's just usually 4.
But he's never put it on there before.
I mean,
that's the problem.
Look, I get it. He's saying, is it a must-win? No, but you should win. It's not a should-win meter. It's a must-win meter.
You pointed this out to me. Like, this is insane. This is insane behavior.
He's playing chess, and we're all playing checkers right now. That's what I think is going on.
We'll understand soon. We just don't understand yet.
Let's be honest. He's looking at it and he's like, book's not there. Fine, but you have to win. I mean, this is a must win to try to stop a slide. It starts to become a true losing streak if you lose today. It can get in your head. You've got a very important handful of games coming up, and you're without Devin Booker. You need to step up today, take care of business, and don't disappoint the kids. It's Kids Day at the arena.
It is Kids Day. You got to do it for the kids. And also, we talked about a losing streak becomes a streak when it reaches 3. And this team has only lost more than 2 in a row once this year, and that was at the beginning of the year. So let's avoid a repeat for that.
Yes.
History's kind of repeating itself a little bit as far as like the way certain stretches are going, 1-4 in your last 5 once again, which is how you started the season. So get back on track. And we will say at the beginning of the season, when you started 1-4, you responded. So maybe we can see history repeat itself in the right way, and we see a different type of surge again here, because it is an advantageous part of the schedule if you handle your business and take care of what you need to take care of.
Yeah, these next couple of games are really big for this team, because you do have 4 good teams coming up, including tonight against Orlando. Orlando's not the best team, but they're not a pushover team.
Absolutely.
Then you have Portland, who is around the same part of you in the Western Conference, about a 500 team.
Scoot Henderson back.
Yeah, Scoot Henderson back. That changes everything. Then you take on Boston, who's one of the best teams in the East. They've been really good so far this year. And then you take on the Lakers, who we all know the Lakers are frauds, but they're not in the same light as these teams that you're facing after that. Once you get through this 4-game stretch, you take on Sacramento, Chicago, New Orleans, Charlotte, who's been playing good as of late, but then Milwaukee, Indiana, Toronto, before you're back to playing Boston, Minnesota, San Antonio again. So you can see a little bit of the light at the end of the tunnel here, but you don't want to completely bottom out going into that. And this is probably the easiest game out of the next 4 that you have, and the easiest game that you've had in a while, maybe besides Dallas. So this is a very important game, but not just for the win. I'm looking at, okay, Jalen Green, can you stack 2 positive good games in a row as a top offensive option. We haven't seen him do that yet this season. Dillon Brooks, are you coming back a new man? No technicals, no flagrants, within yourself controlled and still able to tap in. Don't give me that look. And still able to tap in and be the guy that you need them to be. Can you get your defense back on track, because it's been sliding a little bit as of late? I know people are freaking out. I'm not out on this team, but they do need to earn a little bit more goodwill this afternoon.
Nobody should be out on this team. I mean, look at the
Tell
first
that to a lot of
2/3.
people.
Look at the first 2/3 of the seasons. Injuries suck. Yeah, I get it. And, everybody wants to point a finger at somebody. But if they come out and they look like the Phoenix Suns that we saw, for most of the season, which there's nothing to believe that they won't, especially with Dillon Brooks back, then all of a sudden it's like, oh, yeah, next man up. Oh, we forgot about this. Like, fan short for fanatical for a reason. And it's the ups and downs like that. That's just the reality of it. And as Sean, PHNX says, don't let James Jones know it's Kids Day out there. So F them kids.
F them kids, F them
Not
kids.
literally, but,
Oh, Jesus.
I have a good feeling about today's game, actually. Just thinking about the energy that's going to be in the building and thinking about the early start. I don't know. I think that maybe Thursday was a little bit of an aberration as far as what we saw, and I think that we will see this team get back. I'm just going to keep going forward.
Please,
don't stop. I'm just going to keep going forward.
Stop.
I'm just going to keep going forward. But I think that they try to make that a distant memory, and I think that being back home will help this team a lot as far as just getting some of the mojo back, getting some of the good vibes back again. I think the fact that the Magic are a good team and the fact that this next stretch of games are against good opponents is going to have this team kind of have their antennas up a little bit more, and they'll be prepared for the task at hand, because we need to get back to that mindset and mentality where there was like a 15, 20, 25 game stretch where we were like, this team can beat anybody regardless of who's available, who's in town, whatever it is. So I think we can get back to that tonight.
There are ebbs and flows in every season. And you can look at it with other teams, right? How much fun was it when the Rockets completely bottomed out in December and were losing to a bunch of teams they shouldn't lose to, right? They've stabilized a little bit more. They're fine. You look at the Charlotte Hornets at the beginning of the season. They've completely bottomed out. Now they've, I guess, stabilized or completely swung in the other direction. They got healthy. And then you also look at a team like the New York Knicks over in the Eastern Conference, who, if you talk to Knicks fans literally a month and a half ago, they would have been like, trade the entire roster, burn down Madison Square Garden, Espo was right, fire Mike Brown. Like, it's over. Seriously, that's what the vibes are like in New York.
I never said burn Madison Square Garden down. I'm not in favor of arson.
Roll the tape. But the thing is, when these seasons go on, and I think it's very funny for me because a lot of times I can get stuck in the moment, but good teams go through tough stretches. I mean, obviously, you look at OKC and their overall record is great, but even they've hit little bits of valleys and whatnot throughout the season. And so I'm not worried about a 5-game stretch where they're 1-4 or a 10-game stretch where they're 5-5, especially when you look at some of those losses. That doesn't mean they don't need to improve, but I do think that people forget that there are always lows in a season like this, and this team had had so many highs, prolonged basically from after the first 5 games of the season until the last 5 games has been like one continuous high, that the first time that we don't get that, it's like, oh, well, this is over and the season sucks. I'm still so in on who this team is and what they can do this season, and I promise they're going to rip off some wins that make people regret what they've been saying over the last couple of weeks.
It is kind of crazy you mentioned 5-5 in the last 10, and that 5 includes a 18-point win over Detroit and like a blowout win over Cleveland, that the old Cleveland, but that was not that close. So that's not that distant of a memory as far as this team goes and what they are capable of doing. And to your point, man, this is a marathon. And we said this after the game on Thursday. Over the course of an 82-game season, majority of teams have some type of stretch like this. Now, the better teams have fewer stretches like this, and this is the second stretch of the season for the Suns. But the big word we've always talked about outside of culture is response, and how are you going to respond? And this is familiar territory for this team. Shorthanded, lost 4 out of 5. And we will learn a lot about where this team is and where they can go for the last 26 games of this season based on what we see today.
100%. And look, I understand that fans wind up in this PTSD loop, and it's the expectation is something horrible is going to happen, especially when injuries occur. It's like, well, there we go. We knew this was coming. as Steven says, just breathe. We got to breathe through it. Yeah, maybe they're in a valley, and they are in the valley jerseys tonight, but eventually you will climb out of that and you'll figure it out. And they're not going to, they didn't just forget how to play defense. They didn't just forget how to play hard. They hit a couple bad games, inevitable to happen. Today's the day. Turn it back on.
That's right. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. Keep the faith. These are all the things I'm telling myself with our pregame picks. Presented by our friends over at Bet365. Sign up. Use code PHNX365. Deposit 10. Place a bet for 5. Get $200 in bonus bets. If your bet wins or loses, bonus bets can be used on spreads, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 plus and physically located in Arizona. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. Text NEXT STEP to 53342 or visit promgambling.az.gov. Espo, -200. That's pretty bad, my guy.
It's a clean, even 200. That's kind of cool.
81-25.
Look, man, it's way more embarrassing for you than it is for me.
Sure.
What are you putting your money on today, Espo?
I'm putting my money on Jalen Green, 30-plus points. In fact, I'm going to say that he's going to put pressure on the all-time high scoring in a Orlando Suns game. It's 44. Booker and I believe Tracy McGrady are the two that have 44 points in a game. I think Jalen Green's going to put some pressure on that. Dillon Brooks is back, and he's going to let you know he's going to have 20-plus points. And the Suns are going to win. They're going to have that money line of a -1.5, and that is plus 1,600 or plus 50% profit boost.
I like it. I like it. I mean, I would really like it if Jalen Green dropped 30. That would be electric.
40 piece.
Gil, I'm pretty sure you're a 40 piece in the positive. What are you putting your money on?
For now, let's try to get back right. Jalen Green, quick start, 5+ first quarter points. Dillon Brooks, welcome back. 20+ points from him. And then PB, no J. Paolo Banchero, 20+ points. That's plus 240 with a 50% profit boost. This is one of those I want to see one go through.
PB No J, man, is just it's one
top
of the best,
slander nickname.
It is one of the best nicknames.
Elite slander.
I also have PB No J in my bet, but I'm betting on the unders with him. I'm taking Paolo Banchero under 1.5 3-pointers made.
Betting on that No J, huh?
I'm betting on the No J for PB. I'm also taking under 13.5 assists and rebounds for him. Jalen Green, I'm taking 3+ first quarter points. Dillon Brooks, I'm taking 3+ first quarter points. I think both of them come out firing in today's game. I'm taking Anthony Black over 24.5 PRA. That's about exactly where he's at on the season. He's averaging about 16-4-4, but I think he has a good game today at a plus 650 with a 50% profit boost. This would cut my deficit pretty much in half, and I'd only be at like a -140.
I'm out of that valley.
Gentlemen, our score predictions for tonight. Oh, actually, no, Ayrton has his bet. Sorry, Ayrton. Sorry.
Wow.
My bad.
Just told Ayrton his bet doesn't matter, huh?
Jalen Green, 3 threes. Dillon Brooks, 15 points. Paolo Banchero, under 36.5 PRA, plus 310. Plus 50% profit boost. Now we can move on, Eric.
I'm sorry, Ayrton. I apologize. This is our score prediction.
I'm
sorry. These are our score predictions for today. We're all taking the Suns.
Y'all believe?
Ayrton, what's your score prediction?
Suns by 1 million.
There we
go. Well, obviously, we're all going to watch it together on our watch along on this very channel. So make sure you hop over to that stream here shortly. Your final thoughts, gentlemen. Suns, Magic, 3 p.m. tip off on a Saturday. This game's probably going to be weird, isn't it?
To quote the great philosopher Stephen, win.
Win.
Win, and come out ready to play. It's early.
Yeah, it is early, but we're going to have some fun. It might get crazy, zany, but not like a late night game. Who knows what a Saturday afternoon will bring us? We'll go through it all together on this very channel. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Of course, if you are a member, you get access to the PHNX Suns exclusive mailbag out there. And if you're listening on audio as well, which this pregame isn't, but if you are an audio subscriber, we're posting a bunch to there as well every single week. You can follow the show at PHNX_Suns. You can follow the Freckled Mamba, who's being silenced as always, at Freckled Mamba. You can follow Espo at Espo. You can follow Gil at Gil McGregor_. You can follow me at ERIKRUBY. And hopefully you'll follow us to the watch along. We'll see you then.
Oh,
We all silly like the mayor.